In this chapter, we're going to learn how to create modules. Modules are files that contain Ruby code that we want to put into other Ruby programs. If you're a C++ programmer, it's similar to libraries and pound include or import for Java. So we're going to start out in this first lesson just seeing how to take code from one file and use it in another Ruby program. So let's get started. What we're going to do is we're going to create a file that contains a couple of functions for converting temperatures from Celsius to Fahrenheit and from Fahrenheit to Celsius. So let's do that first. That's our Celsius to Fahrenheit method. Now let's create our Fahrenheit to Celsius method. We can test them in the file before we actually use this file in another program, so let's do that real quick. So we should see 212 and 0 as the output for these two statements. Let's see what happens here. 212 and 0. The output doesn't look all that good, but we're not trying to make the output good. We just wanted to test the functions. Let's go back to the program, and we'll take those out. Save the file again. Now let's create a new file. We'll call it temps. And we're going to use this file to actually convert some temperatures. So to do that, we have to use what's called a require statement, followed by the name of the file we want to include into our program, or require into our program. Notice that we have to reference the file with a dot backslash, indicating that it's down its own level of directory. Once we do that, though, we can use the methods exactly as is. So we can write Fahrenheit to Celsius 212, Celsius to Fahrenheit 0. So let's save those. Bring our command prompt window up and type ruby temps.rb. And there's our two answers, 132.0. So to summarize, we created a Ruby file that contained two method definitions or function definitions. You'll notice I use those words interchangeably. C to F for Celsius to Fahrenheit, and F to C for Fahrenheit to Celsius. And both of these functions or methods simply convert a temperature from one scale to another. Then we wrote a small program to use them. And the way we did that was we typed require followed by this path, dot backslash temp convert. And then once we do that, then those method or function definitions are now part of our program, and we can use them as if we defined them right there in the actual file itself. So we call F to C with 212, and we call C to F with 0, and our output was 132, which is exactly right. So that's how you add the definitions of a file into another Ruby program. And that's a very good start on our way to modularization. The problem is that when we want to include more than one file or require more than one file, it's possible that the files that we're trying to import into our program can have method or function names or even constant names that are the same. And when we do that, then we have a naming conflict, which can lead to problems with our programs. So the solution to that is to create something called a module, which will create a namespace for each set of methods and constants. By creating its own namespace, then we can make sure that we don't have naming conflicts by prefacing our method or constant name with the name of the namespace or the module, since it'll have the same name. So in the next lesson, we're going to look at how to create modules and use those to prevent naming conflicts.